natin ang ating kaligtasan sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangat palagi ng ating paaralan ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat sabay-sabay, pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face to face, gamit ng cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang inyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
Magbayanihan na, magbayanihan na, bayanihan, pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Tatag at tibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pagbigkisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salib na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salib na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Brigada, magbayanihan na. Sabay-sabayhan na.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Tingog Party List, Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply,
Mabanglo Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply,
GB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We-In Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Bertodazo,
Apex Mining Company Incorporated,
and Icon Builders and Supply.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela,
at umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Today's reflection. Job chapter 19 verse 25 says, I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. One of the most solemn and yet most glorious truths revealed in the Bible is that of Christ's second coming, to complete the great work of redemption. To God's pilgrim people, so long left to sojourn in the region and shadow of death, a precious, joy-inspiring hope is given in the promise of his appearing, who is the resurrection and the life, to bring home again his banished. The doctrine of the second advent is a very keynote of the sacred scriptures. From the day when the first pair turned their sorrowing steps from Eden, the children of faith have waited the coming of the promised one to break the destroyer's power and bring them again to the lost paradise. Enoch, only the seventh in descent from them that dwelt in Eden, he who for 3 centuries on earth walked with his God, was permitted to behold from afar the coming of the deliverer. Behold, he declared, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all. The patriarch Job, in the night of his affliction, exclaimed with unshaken trust, I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. In my flesh shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another. May the God of all grace so enlighten your understanding that you may discern eternal things, that by the light of truth your own errors, which are many, may be discovered to you just as they are, that you may make the necessary effort to put them away, and in the place of this evil, bitter fruit may bring forth fruit which is precious unto eternal life. Humble your poor, proud, self-righteous heart before God. Get low, very low, all broken in your sinfulness at his feet. Devote yourselves to the work of preparation. Rest not until you can truly say, my Redeemer liveth, and because he lives, I shall live also. If you lose heaven, you lose everything. If you gain heaven, you gain everything. Do not make a mistake in this matter, I implore you. Eternal interests are here involved.
Gikan sa bubuhat, Davao de Oro, tuburan sa paglaon. Sa Davao inyong mahuswagon, ang kaanyang mong makabibihan, talag sa undas sa kahitasan, kamukiran sa lumaki alimahan, bunga sa karagayan. Bulawang may pagluban, yuta mong nagmadagayaon, mga anak mong mahigugmaon. Kipalipon sa bayanihan, iumol sa panaghiusa, sa timumang may mapeya at sa pagtinabangan may kalamluan. Among kabulahanan, Davao de Oro, magulawanong paraiso, sa nag-iusang Davaoenyo, ang kaanyang makabibihan, talag sa ondas sa sangkahitasan, kabukiran sa lumagi alimahan, bunga sa kalagayan. Among kabulahanan, Davao de Oro, magulawanong paraiso, sa nag-iusang Davaoenyo, Davao de Oro, Davao de Oro, dagat tuyutan, buhing bulawan, Davao de Oro, Davao de Oro, dagat tuyutan.
One beautiful morning mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Today is July 7, 2021, 7-7. Aba, parang familiar yan sa akin, no? 7-7. Right, mga ka-Z-Eskwela, welcome to Radyo Z-Eskwela. Today is Wednesday, as I've said, July 7, 2021. And we are 4 days to go ata before we end our airing dito sa ating programang Radyo Z-Eskwela. So our last day is on Saturday, tama ba, boss? Right? So this is going to be our last airing this Saturday, July 10, 2021. So this is our last week po mga ka-Z-Eskwela. So I hope you are watching right now and viewing us on Facebook. Kasi naka-live tayo sa ating Facebook Live at Z-Radio 88.5. DepEd tayo Division of Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro, and Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. And of course, mahimo ka mong comment sa atong comment boxes. FB Live, Z Radio 88.5, DepEd Tayo Division of Davao de Oro, and Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro. And our mobile phone number is 0953-211-3492. Just in case you want to text us, if you're listening through the app po at mga radyo nyo, 0953-211-3492 po ang ating numero. And oras natin, it's 10:35 already. We have that time check is brought to us by Maverick Builders Incorporated and Mitch Construction and Supply. For our lessons for today, mga Z-Eskwela, we're going to start off with grade 7 science. That's going to be presented to us by Ma'am Rosalie A. Alcosel, Teacher 2 of the Bunturan National Comprehensive High School, and Ma'am Bonnie Jean P. Bernadas, Teacher 1 of Attorney Orlando S. Remando National High School. Right, so I guess we are going to start na, Sir Tata. Okay, so all is set, mga Z-Eskwela. So we are now doing our first lesson for today. Hooray for a WED-SCITING day. Get yourselves ready for these final episodes in science for this school year, mga Z-Eskwela. Kaya, tara na, magklase na ta.
Good day, our dear grade 7 science learners. How are you today? Welcome to another session of our School on Air in Science, where learning is fun and easy. I am glad to be with you again for another quarter of discovery and amazing moments as we take up new insights and ideas. I am your teacher presenter, Teacher Rosalie, and together we will uncover the many wonders of science. This time we will take up Quarter 3, Module 6. We will cover up a new lesson on heat transfer. Kindly check your modules, notebooks, and pens. Please join me this morning for another episode of Learning in Science. Find yourself a quiet space where you can be comfortably seated as we begin. We will start with a recap with some of your lessons that we need to recall as we take up this new concept in this session. Everything around us is made up of matter. They are solid, liquid, and gas. Your coffee cup is an example of its solid state. The hot coffee inside is liquid, while the steam from the heat of your hot coffee is gas. Matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms. A solid's particles are packed closely together, giving no space for movement. The particles of a liquid are less densely packed, giving them the ability to move around and slide past each other. In gases, the particles move rapidly in all directions, frequently colliding with each other inside of the container. With an increase in temperature, the particles gain kinetic energy and move faster. Please remember these ideas as we go along with our new lesson. In this module, you will learn new concepts about heat transfer. You will also learn the conditions necessary for heat transfer to occur. After going through this lesson, you are expected to describe heat, identify the different methods of heat transfer, infer the conditions necessary for heat transfer to happen. Before we take up new concepts, we will try to answer some questions about heat transfer to see how familiar you are with the new topic. Please take down notes as we will answer every questions. Ready? Number 1. A lifeguard feels hot on a bright sunny day at the beach. Which of the following methods of heat transfer is being described? A. Conduction, B. Convection, C. Radiation, D. Insulation. The answer, letter C, radiation. Number 2. Which of the following refers to the heat transfer in liquid and gases? A. Conduction, B. Convection, C. Radiation, D. Insulation. The answer, letter B, convection. Number 3. Which of the following situations does not describe the transfer of heat through conduction? A. Chocolate melts on the hand. B. A pot is heated on the stove. C. Snow melts under the sun. D. Cup feels warm when touched. The answer, letter C, snow melts under the sun. Number 4. What type of energy moves from a hotter to a cooler object? A. Heat, B. Potential, C. Wind, D. Water. The answer, letter A, heat. Number 5. Which of the following objects is not a good conductor of heat? A. Silver spoon, B. Gold necklace, C. Copper wire, D. Rubber. The answer, D. Rubber. Number 6. What condition best describes the heat flow from one object to another? A. Heat flows between objects of different temperatures. B. Heat flows between objects of different structures. C. Heat flows between objects of different sizes. D. Heat flows between objects of different textures. The answer, letter A. Heat flows between objects of different temperatures. For number 7 to 10, examine the illustration below. Figure out the process of heat transfer of a flying hot air balloon. Number 7. What happens to the molecules inside the balloon as it is being heated up by the burner? A. The molecules will go down. B. The molecules will move very slow. C. The molecules will move closer to each other. D. The molecules will move very fast and will move apart from each other. The answer? Letter D. The molecules will move very fast and will move apart from each other. Number 8. Which of the following statements is true about the air inside the balloon? A. The burner will warm the air inside, causing it to rise. B. The burner will cool the air inside, causing it to sink. C. The burner will warm the air inside, causing to contract. D. The burner will cool the air inside, causing it to move sideways. The answer? A. The burner will warm the air inside, causing it to rise. Number 9. What type of heat transfer condition is happening in the hot air balloon? A. Conduction. B. Convection. C. Radiation. D. Insulation. The answer? Letter B. Convection. Number 10. Suppose you want to land the hot air balloon. What do you think is the best thing for you to do? A. I need to heat up the balloon more. B. I must add more fuel to the burner. C. I need to decrease the heat inside the balloon. D. I must put water inside the balloon. The answer? Letter C. I need to decrease the heat inside the balloon. Did you get all the correct answers? Don't worry. When we come back, you will learn more about the topic as you get to take up the different ideas and concepts of the new lesson after a short break.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Hello again, our dear grade 7 science learners. Are you all set? Please make sure you have your notes and pens ready. Kindly turn your modules on Let's Study part. Try to rub both of your hands together. What can you feel? Correct! Your hands will feel warm. Why do you think so? As you have learned previously, matter is everywhere, and it is either solid, liquid, or gas. Matter is also made up of very small particles called atoms. When atoms group together, they form molecules. These particles move back and forth. Their movement produces a form of energy we call heat. Heat energy is present all around us. It is also called thermal energy. The temperature of an object helps us measure its hotness or coldness. Let us examine the two pictures. Try to answer the following questions. What will happen if you leave a cup of hot coffee on the table? Will the drink heat up or cool off? How about leaving a glass of cold orange juice on the desk? Will the drink heat up or cool off? Let's find out. What does it mean when there is transfer of heat? When a cup of hot coffee is left on the table, heat is released and will be absorbed by the environment. It is the same way when a glass of cold orange juice is placed on the desk. Heat is absorbed from the environment. It is important to meet this condition for heat transfer to occur. Heat flows from an object with higher temperature to an object with lower temperature. It can happen between states of matter. As long as there is difference in temperature, there is heat transfer. The fast-moving molecules will collide with the slow-moving molecules, which means that the molecules give off when an object or substance is heated, which means there will be increase in temperature. The particles will gain more energy, then passes to the object with a lower temperature. As you have seen in the picture, your hands will feel warm or hot when you touch the pan because heat is being transferred from the pan to your hands. On the other hand, you will feel cold when you touch an ice cube. Remember, heat will now transfer from your hands to the ice. The increase in temperature means there is increase in energy. Meanwhile, energy has been lost when an object has lower temperature. Conductors are objects that conduct or allow heat to flow. Materials such as metals and stone can transfer heat faster. However, not all objects can conduct heat very well. Kitchen utensils such as your kettles, pans, spoons are some examples that you can find in your home, which are examples of good conductors of heat. Insulators are those materials that are poor conductors of heat. Examples are paper, wood, cloth, rubber, and plastics. Convection is the transfer of heat energy in gases and liquids. It happens due to the movement of the molecules of a liquid or a gas. When these molecules are heated, they move upward from hotter area to cooler area. To understand this better, let's examine the heat transfer through boiling water in a kettle on a stove. For convection to happen, conduction is needed, such as when the heat source is coming from the stove. The metal kettle becomes hot and heats up the water molecules inside, causing them to move very fast. The hot water begins to rise from the bottom to the top of the kettle. The colder water on top will be replaced by the rising hot water, where it will be heated and will rise as well. Radiation is the transfer of energy that does not need particles or medium to conduct heat. Therefore, no physical contact is required as compared to conduction and convection. Heat transfer through radiation can happen in a vacuum, where there is no air, such as in the outer space. In this method, heat is transferred in all directions from a source through electromagnetic waves. Now that you are already familiar with the different types of heat transfer and its concepts, kindly check your module and prepare your notes and pens for Activity 1. The heat is on. Here is the direction. Determine the type of heat transfer, conduction, convection, radiation, described in the following situations, and write a short explanation about how the heat is being transferred. The first one is done for you. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper to be checked by your teacher. Example 1. A melting ice cream on a hot sunny day. Heat transfer. Radiation. Explanation. The solar energy from the sun will be absorbed by the ice cream, which increases its temperature. Therefore, the ice cream will melt. For number 2 question, a hot air balloon rising. What is the kind of heat transfer shown in the picture? Kindly explain your answer briefly. Number 3, grilling barbecue meat on a hot charcoal. Number 4, walking barefooted on the sand during the day. Number 5, heating food in the microwave oven. You have done a great job, dear students. Now that you have successfully identified the methods of heat transfer, you are ready for another challenge. Here is the direction. Answer the questions below by describing how different objects undergo heat transfer based on the given illustrations. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. The first one is done for you. Number 1, how is spoon being heated in a hot cup of coffee? The answer for number 1 is the spoon becomes warmer because the heat from the coffee is transferred to the spoon through conduction. The metal spoon is a good conductor, which allows it to absorb heat very well. Number 2. Why does a snowman melt under the sun? Number 3. What type of heat transfer happens from the stove to the pan? Number 4. What happens to the molecules of the water when it is boiling? Let us answer number 3. What type of heat transfer happens from the stove to the pan? The correct answer is convection. Number 4. What happens to the molecules of the water when it is boiling? The hot water particles rise from the bottom to the top of the kettle. The colder water on top will be replaced by the rising hot water, where it will be heated and will rise as well, creating circulation currents or continuous movement of energy generated by the forces acting upon it. In this case, the water inside the kettle reacted with the heat of the fire stove. Congratulations for doing a great job in performing your tasks. Take note of the following to help you summarize the concepts you have learned. Heat is a form of energy that is transferred from one object to another with different temperatures. Heat transfer will happen if heat flows from hot to cold, or from higher temperature to lower temperature. The fast-moving molecules will collide with the slow-moving molecules, giving up some of their energy. This transfer of energy will continue to happen until both objects have the same temperature. Let us do more tasks when we return after a short break.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
We're back, learners! For the last part of our session, we will try another activity to test your gained knowledge. Kindly open your modules on Let Us Assess part. Please have your modules and notes and pens ready as I read each item, and we will check your answers right after each question. Ready? Number 1. What type of energy moves from a hotter to cooler object? A. Heat, B. Potential, C. Wind, D. Water. The answer? A. Heat. Number 2. Which of the following refers to the heat transfer in liquid and gases? A. Conduction, B. Convection, C. Radiation, D. Insulation. The answer? Letter B. Convection. Number 3. A lifeguard feels hot on a bright sunny day at the beach. Which of the following methods of heat transfer is being described? A. Conduction, B. Convection, C. Radiation, D. Insulation. The answer? Letter C. Radiation. Number 4. Which of the following situations does not describe the transfer of heat through conduction? A. Chocolate melts on the hand. B. A pot is heated on the stove. C. Snow melts under the sun. D. Cup feels warm when touched. The answer? Letter C. Snow melts under the sun. Number 5. Which of the following objects is not a good conductor of heat? A. Silver spoon. B. Gold necklace. C. Copper wire. D. Rubber. The answer? Letter D. Rubber. Number 6. What condition best describes the heat flow from one object to another? A. Heat flows between objects with different temperatures. B. Heat flows between objects with different structures. C. Heat flows between objects with different sizes. D. Heat flows between objects with different textures. The answer? Letter A. Heat flows between objects with different temperatures. For number 7 to 10, examine the illustration below. Figure out the process of heat transfer of a flying hot air balloon. Number 7. What happens to the molecules inside the balloon as it is being heated up by the burner? A. The molecules will go down. B. The molecules will move very slow. C. The molecules will move closer to each other. D. The molecules will move very fast and will move apart from each other. The answer? Letter D. The molecules will move very fast and will move apart from each other. Number 8. Which of the following statements is true about the air inside the balloon? A. The burner will warm the air inside, causing it to rise. B. The burner will cool the air inside, causing it to sink. C. The burner will warm the air inside, causing to contract. D. The burner will cool the air inside, causing it to move sideways. The answer? Letter A. The burner will warm the air inside, causing it to rise. Number 9. What type of heat transfer condition is happening in the hot air balloon? A. Conduction. B. Convection. C. Radiation. D. Insulation. The answer? Letter B. Convection. Number 10. Suppose you want to land the hot air balloon. What do you think is the best thing for you to do? A. I need to heat up the balloon more. B. I must add more fuel to the burner. C. I need to decrease the heat inside the balloon. D. I must put water inside the balloon. The answer? Letter C. I need to decrease the heat inside the balloon. For numbers 11 to 15, read the paragraph below, then answer the given questions. Today is Anna's birthday. Her friend Elsa will be baking a chocolate cake for her party. To start baking, Elsa turned on the oven and preheated it to 170 degrees Celsius. She prepared all the ingredients such as milk, butter, chocolate, flour, and eggs. Then she started mixing them in a large bowl and poured the mixture into a metal pan. After that, Elsa is now ready to bake the cake. She really could feel that it is hot inside the oven. So, she used pot holders and carefully placed the pan inside. After 30 minutes, the cake is perfectly cooked. Elsa opened the oven, got the cake, and let it cool off for a few more minutes before putting icing and other decorations. Now, answer the following. Number 11. What method of heat transfer is being described when Elsa felt hot when she opened the oven? A. Conduction, B. Convection, C. Radiation, D. Insulation. The answer? Letter C. Radiation. Number 12. During the baking process, which of the following best describes heat transfer through conduction? A. Heat is transferred from the oven to the metal pan. B. Heat is transferred from the metal pan to the oven door. C. Heat is transferred from the metal pan to the cake mixture. D. Heat is transferred from the oven to the cake mixture. The answer? Letter C. Heat is transferred from the metal pan to the cake mixture. Number 13. Which of the following statements is not true about Elsa using pot holders? A. Pot holders protect the skin from direct heat. B. Pot holders can help Elsa hold the pan much better. C. Pot holders can be good kitchen decorations and are useful. D. Pot holders do not allow heat to transfer from the pan to the hand. The answer? Letter C. Pot holders can be good kitchen decorations and are useful. Number 14. What happened to the air inside the oven when it was turned on? A. The molecules of air inside the oven start to move faster. B. The molecules of air inside the oven will begin to go down. C. The molecules of air inside the oven start to move a bit slower. D. The molecules of air inside the oven start to freeze. The answer? Letter A. The molecules of air inside the oven start to move faster. Number 15. Based on what you have read, which of the following is true about baking a chocolate cake inside an oven? A. Radiation makes the oven door feel hotter. B. Conduction is used to bake the cake inside the oven. C. Convection only allows heat to be distributed inside the oven. D. Conduction, convection, and radiation are applied in baking a cake inside the oven. The answer? Letter D. conduction, convection, and radiation are applied in baking a cake inside the oven. This time, kindly check the Let Us Enhance part of your module. We will check how well you have mastered the lesson with Activity 3, The Heat is On. Here is the direction. Read and study the following situations below. Complete the table by writing your answers on the space provided. The first one is done for you. Scenario: your hands can feel the heat of the campfire. Method of heat transfer: radiation. Gives off heat: campfire. Absorbs heat: hands. Please answer the following scenarios. 1. Frying an egg in a pan. 2. Baking a cake inside the oven. 3. Ironing your clothes. 4. Sunbathing on the beach. Did you get all the correct answers? Cheers! You have done a marvelous work in learning the lesson and answering the activities and tasks. Continue reading to summarize the concepts you have studied in this module. Learning the methods of heat transfer can help us understand a lot of practical and industrial processes. It is interesting to know that these concepts have various applications that we can relate and use in our daily living. For instance, materials such as a thermos bottle, which helps keep our drinks hot or cold, applies the concept of insulation. Cooking pans and other utensils were designed to use metals so that effective heating will be done. Aside from that, we wear thick jackets and sweaters to prevent body heat from coming out and keep us warm during cold days. Most importantly, the natural process of convection and radiation help maintain a suitable temperature for living things to survive on Earth. Hooray! Good job, learners! Thank you for doing your best in each activities. New concepts and ideas are added to your knowledge bank as you continue to learn in each lesson. According to Paige Hudson, all experiments are learning experiences, even when they don't go as planned. Thank you for tuning in. This is Teacher Rosalie Alcocer with my content developer, Teacher Bonnie Jean Bernadas. Until our next discovery and fun time in science, good day and God bless.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T.U., Donna D.T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team: Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Good morning, Tabo de Oro. Good morning, Z-Eskwela listeners, especially to all grade 8 students who are listening to us right now. I am your radio teacher, Miss Sushmita Dayanara and Lampagos from Andab National High School, near Bataan District. And with me is Sir Elizur and Rebucas from Monte Vista National High School, Monte Vista District. We are here happy to serve you for 45 minutes of bringing you with fun and exciting lessons in Science Grade 8. So, we hope you had already prepared your pens, record notebooks, and modules. And be sure that you already had eaten your lunch as we go through our discussion. Now, are you ready for today's lesson? That's good! Before we introduce to you our topic this morning, let's do some brainstorming. Now, have you asked yourself, why do we eat? What do you think? Is eating necessary in keeping us alive? Can we live without eating? Think about the things that we do every day. Where do we get the energy that enables us to carry out many activities that we do each day? How do we obtain materials needed for the growth and repair of body parts? Well, let me tell you this. The food that we eat plays a central role in the survival of species. It provides the energy that enables us to carry out many activities that we do each day, such as breathing, walking, running, cleaning, studying, and cooking. Food also provides the substances needed for growth and repair of body parts. Also, the cells in the body need food for energy used for growth and repair. Food must be broken down into a form that these microscopic cells can use. The body changes food into a usable form by means of a group of organs referred to as the digestive system. Do you want to know more about your digestive system? Very good! This episode will help you know more. Before we proceed to our main discussion, let's have a pretest. Kindly open your module in pages 2 to 4 and let's try to answer some questions. Are you ready? That's good. Let's read the instruction together before we start. In your comfortable seats, let's read the instruction first. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. In what process do animals take in food that provides energy and nutrients? A. Assimilation. B. Digestion. C. Excretion. D. Ingestion. Answer letter D. Ingestion. Number 2. The process in which digested foods are distributed into different parts of the body cells. A. Assimilation. B. Digestion. C. Excretion. D. Ingestion. Answer letter A. Assimilation. Number 3. What is the process of turning food into smaller molecules with the aid of enzymes? A. Churning. B. Mastication. C. Chemical digestion. D. Mechanical digestion. Answer letter C. Chemical digestion. Number 4. Where does the final stage in digestion of food happen? A. Liver. B. Mouth. C. Small intestine. D. Large intestine. Answer letter C. Small intestine. Number 5. What type of enzyme present in saliva helps break down starch? A. Amylase. B. Lactase. C. Lipase. D. Maltase. Answer letter A. Amylase. Number 6. Which of the following breaks down food into tinier pieces to begin mechanical digestion? A. Esophagus. B. Stomach. C. Teeth. D. Tongue. Answer letter C. Teeth. Number 7. What organ system is responsible for breaking down of large molecules into smaller molecules and absorption of organic compounds needed by the body? A. Circulatory system. B. Digestive system. C. Nervous system. D. Respiratory system. Answer letter B. Digestive system. Number 8. What is the main function of the large intestine? A. It breaks down hemoglobin. B. It secretes digestive enzymes. C. It regulates the release of bile. Letter D. It reabsorbs water from chyme. Answer, letter D. It reabsorbs water from chyme. Number 9. What do you call the wave-like contraction of the smooth muscles of the digestive tract pushes food in small sections through the gastrointestinal tube? A. Mixing movement. B. Parietal movement. C. Contractile movement. D. Peristaltic movement. Answer, letter D. Peristaltic movement. Number 10. If the liver is severely damaged, metabolism of which nutrients would be most affected? A. Carbohydrates. B. Lipids. C. Proteins. D. All of the above. Answer, letter D. All of the above. 11. What is the most essential function of the intestinal villi? A. Pushes the fecal matter into the rectum. B. Increases surface area for nutrient absorption. C. Secretes serous fluid to decrease friction among the organs. Letter D. Secretes mucus to facilitate the movement of chyme via the alimentary canal. Answer, letter B. Increases surface area for nutrient absorption. Number 12. Which of the following shows the correct sequence of the processes involved in the human digestive system? A. Assimilation, absorption, ingestion, digestion, and egestion. Letter B. Digestion, ingestion, assimilation, egestion, and absorption. Letter C. Egestion, absorption, digestion, assimilation, and ingestion. Letter D. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Answer, letter D. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Number 13. What is the term for the food that is chewed and mixed with saliva that turns into a moist ball? A. Bolus. B. Chyme. C. Feces. D. Gastric juice. Answer, letter A. Bolus. Number 14. It is the process by which the nutrients from the digested food move into the blood vessels passing through the lining of the small intestine. A. Assimilation. B. Digestion. C. Egestion. D. Elimination. Answer, letter A. Assimilation. And 15. Which of these substances is an enzyme that digests protein in the stomach? A. Amylase. B. Hydrochloric acid. C. Pepsin. Or D. Saliva. Answer letter C, pepsin. Well done, learners. I guess you are now ready for our next lesson. What do you think would be our lesson for today? This time, we will discuss with you the structure and function of the digestive system. We hope that you will be able to achieve our objective for today. What would be our objective? At the end of this session, you will be able to first, identify the organs that make up the digestive system. Second, give the function of each organ. Third, describe how some accessory organs and glands help the body in the digestive process. And fourth, explain ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and excretion. So, are you now ready to listen? Fabulous! Now, sit back and relax, because after a short break, we will start our lesson.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
I'm back, learners. We will discuss this time the structures and functions of the digestive system. Now, let's begin. Our digestive system is composed of different organs that work together to break down food and nourish the body. It also involves important processes in order to carry out the function of the digestive system. The function of the digestive system is digestion. What is digestion? Digestion is the breakdown of organic compounds into their simple forms for use by the cells. Digestion is the chief function of the digestive system. It breaks down food mechanically and chemically. Let us take a journey throughout the human digestive system to see how it works and how the organs coordinate in order to carry out the processes of digestion. To make it a little more interesting, try to imagine what happens to your favorite snack. The journey of the food starts from the mouth down to the anus that takes about 18 to 20 hours. At this point, we will discuss the parts and processes of the digestive system. Let's start with the ingestion. Ingestion is the first process that happens in the digestive system. It is the journey of taking in food or any substance into the body through the mouth. The journey of food starts when a bit of the food enters your mouth. Next is digestion. It is the second process involved in the digestive system. It is the process that involves breakdown of large food molecules into smaller molecules for easy absorption of the cells. Both chemical and mechanical digestion begin immediately in the mouth. While the food is in the mouth, the teeth cut, crush, and break it apart into tiny pieces, while the tongue helps mix food with saliva secreted by the salivary glands, forming into a moist ball called bolus, so it can be easily swallowed. The process is known as mastication or chewing, considered as a mechanical digestion, which is the initial stage of digestion. The saliva contains salivary amylase, the enzyme that breaks down starch into a smaller carbohydrate. Then, the bolus passes from the mouth to the esophagus. Esophagus is a tube that attaches the mouth to the stomach. A series of wave-like muscle contractions known as peristalsis push and transport foods and liquids in small sections to the stomach. What is a stomach? The stomach is a J-shaped, bag-like muscular organ that can hold approximately 1 liter of fluid and food. The primary function of the stomach is to store food, which turns to chyme after being acted on by the stomach acid. Chyme is a semi-fluid material formed from bolus that is acted upon by the gastric juices secreted by the stomach. The walls of the stomach have special cells that secrete gastric juices like hydrochloric acid and pepsin that begin the chemical breakdown of proteins. Let us take a short detour into the 3 organs that are part of the digestive system and helps in secretion of essential substances. These organs are the liver, the pancreas, and the gallbladder. The liver produces bile. A bile is a green fluid that turns large fat droplets into smaller ones and stores them in the gallbladder. When necessary, bile gets into the small intestine and helps in the digestion of fat. The pancreas makes 3 different kinds of enzymes, namely amylase, peptidase, and lipase which are released through a pancreatic duct that aids in the digestion of all three organic compounds such as carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. We also have the small intestine. How will you describe the small intestine? Well, it is an organ that breaks down food further into substances such as glucose that can be absorbed by the villi. It has three parts, namely the duodenum, the jejunum, and ileum. The duodenum is the first and shortest part of the small intestine that starts at the lower end of the stomach and extends for about 20 cm to 25 cm in length. Basically, it is in charge for the continuous breaking down process as it partially receives the chyme from the stomach. It also resumes chemical digestion of food and prepares for absorption through the villi. Organic compounds such as carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are specifically broken down with the aid of different enzymes. Carbohydrates are broken down into sugars by enzymes like amylase, maltase, and lactase. Proteins are broken down into amino acids by enzymes like trypsin and peptidase. Fats are broken down into fatty acids by the enzyme lipase. After about 4 hours, the stomach pushes food into the small intestines. The production and release of enzymes and acids in the digestive system is called secretion. And also, it aids in the breaking down of complex food molecules into their chemical building blocks. The jejunum is the second part of the small intestine that is 2.5 cm in length. Its wall works for absorption through enterocytes or columnar cells of small nutrient particles which have been previously digested by the enzymes in the duodenum. Next is the absorption. Absorption is the third process that happens in the digestive system. It occurs mostly in the small intestine where several digestive juices, pancreatic juice, and bile aid in the chemical digestion of food. Absorption is the process of passing the soluble food molecules in the wall of the small intestine through the villi. Villi are the tiny finger-like projections from the epithelial lining of the intestinal wall. Each villus contains blood capillaries that enable it to absorb water, glucose, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids. It also increases the amount of surface area available for the absorption of nutrients. Now, the fourth process that occurs in the digestive system is called assimilation. It is the movement of digested food nutrients into the blood vessels of the small intestine through diffusion, and use of nutrients into the body cells through the microvilli. Microvilli are microscopic cellular membrane projections that serves to expand the surface area for diffusion and also to lessen any increase in volume. Well, the third part of the small intestine is the ileum, which is about 3.5 meters in length. Its main function is their assimilation, absorption of B12, and the re-assimilation or reabsorption of conjugated bile salts. Now, let's talk about the large intestine. Large intestine is divided into second, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon. This is where reabsorption of liquid, electrolytes, and some vitamins from the undigested food takes place. It secretes mucus to aid in the formation of feces and maintains alkaline conditions. This is the last segment of the gastrointestinal tract that completes absorption and compacts waste. The last one is digestion. Digestion is the last process that occurs in the digestive system. It is the release of undigested food collected in the rectum called feces and pushed out of the body through the anus by defecation. We're done, students. Do you have any questions? If you have, kindly put it down in the comment section of our FB page, or you may text us. So let's proceed. This time, let me ask you, what have you learned from our discussion today? Wow, that's good! The digestive system is an important part of our body. It helps our body breaks down bulk of food, absorb essential nutrients from what we eat, and even get rid of its waste product. Fabulous! That's a good realization of our lesson. Well, that's all for today, grade 8 learners. We are finally done with our discussion. So I guess you are now ready to take the quiz. After this short break, kindly prepare any sheets of paper for our evaluation. Good luck!
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction,
Counselor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
I'm back, learners! Are you now ready for your quiz? I guess you are quite ready and excited. Learners, kindly open your module on pages 17 to 19. Let us read the instruction together. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Are you ready? Number 1. The following organs are part of the human digestive system except A. Mouth, B. Esophagus, C. Small intestine, D. Gastrovascular cavity. Number 2. In which part of the digestive system does the breaking down of food into tinier pieces occur? A. Mouth, B. Stomach, C. Small intestine, or D. Large intestine. Number 3. Which of the following helps in the digestion of food in the mouth? A. Amylase, B. Bile, C. Protease, D. Saliva. Number 4. What enzyme aids the digestion of lipids in the small intestine? A. Amylase, B. Gastric enzyme, C. Lipase, D. Pepsin. Number 5. Which tiny structures line the internal surface of the small intestine to increase its surface area for the absorption of nutrients? A. Bile ducts, B. Cilia, C. Salivary glands, D. Villi. Number 6. What is the largest internal organ of the human body? A. Heart, B. Gallbladder, C. Liver, D. Stomach. Number 7. Which of the following is produced by the liver? A. Amylase, B. Bile, C. Pepsin, D. Renin. Number 8. Which organ stores bile and pumps it into the duodenum? A. Appendix, B. Colon, C. Gallbladder, D. Pancreas. Number 9. What is the result of chemical digestion of carbohydrates? A. Amino acid, B. Bile, C. Fatty acids, or D. Simple sugars. Number 10. Where does absorption of nutrients mostly occur? A. Stomach, B. Small intestine, C. Large intestine, or D. All of the above. Number 11. What aids the passage of food through the digestive tract? A. Pull from the anus, B. Chemical absorption, C. Movement of the cilia. D. Wave-like muscle contractions. Number 12. What is the main work of the digestive system? A. Fights disease. B. Regenerates cells. C. Breaks down food. D. Distributes energy throughout the body. Number 13. Which of the following is the correct order of the digestive tract? A. Mouth, rectum, esophagus, rectum, anus, small intestine, and large intestine. Letter B. Mouth, stomach, esophagus, rectum, anus, small intestine, and large intestine. Letter C. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. Letter D. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, anus, large intestine, and rectum. Number 14. How do nutrients from digested food reach the blood? A. By passing through the esophagus into the blood. B. By being absorbed into the blood through the blood vessels. Letter C. By being absorbed into the blood through the walls of the lungs. Letter D. By passing through the small intestine into the large intestine, then into the blood. And 15. What will happen to the undigested food that passed through the digestive tract? A. Goes to the pancreas to await disposal. Letter B. Enters the stomach and await disposal. Letter C. Goes to small intestine and await disposal. Or letter D. Moves down to the large intestine and await disposal. Okay, let us check your work. Who among you get perfect? Very good. How about those students who get below the median? Good, nothing to worry about. We still have plenty of assessments. Once again, congratulations everyone! Again, I am Ma'am Sushmita from Andap National High School, and with me is Sir Eliezer from Monte Vista National High School for the Class on the Air in Grade 8 Science. For those concepts which is not clear to you, you can put your comments, suggestions, and questions on our FB page. Thank you so much for listening.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's Division Superintendent, Euphemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato M. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lori Lee E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judilan T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolivar, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garzuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Siguradong masaya. Mga ka-Z-Eskwela, oras po natin, 12:07 na. And 7 minutes na po akong overtime na inyo pong natunghayan ang ating lesson presentation mula kay Ma'am Elizer Ribucas, Teacher 3 of Monte Vista National High School, and Sir Elizer Ribucas and Ma'am Sushmita Dayanara M. Rilampagos, Teacher 1 of Andap National High School. That's grade 8 science. Right, mga Z-Eskwela, as I said, 7 minutes na po akong overtime. Naka-OT na po ako. Nandito na po si Teacher Drew. Naghihintay na umalis ako, kaya alis na ako, mga Z-Eskwela. Again, susunod na si Teacher Drew, ang gwapo ninyong teacher, mula alas 12 hanggang alas 2 ng hapon para sa grades 9 and 10 science, mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Babalik po ako bukas dito lang sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya, 88.5 FM Z Radio, siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyada. Salamat og dalay ng Diyos.
Sa radio, been alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod, napapuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka muadto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Don't stop sa Z Radio, tagaan mo glingaw. Kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while the tune in sa radio. All day, all night, diri lang sa Z Radio. Bisan o gasa pa kapadulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kahit ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya,
88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Hisgot Panglawas. Programang maghatod kaninyo sa mga impormasyon mahitungod sa hisgutan ng panglawas. Kauban ng atong mga eksperto. Paminaw matag Huwebes, alas 8 hangtod alas 9 sa buntag. Dili lang sa Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Hisgot Panglawas. Mga legal nga hisgutanan, Panyero de Oro, tagaan ug pagtagad sa programang Panyero de Oro. Paminaw kada Miyerkules alas 8 hangtod alas 9 sa buntag. Panyero de Oro, dili lamang sa Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
You got it.
Panyero de Oro. Makisayod sa hisgutan ng kalinaw alang sa kalabuan sa atong komunidad. Kalinaw para sa kalambuan. Paminaw kada Biyernes alas 9 hangtod alas 10 sa buntag. Kalinaw para sa kalambuan. Dili lang sa Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Ang programang maghatod og good vibes ug mga inspirasyon sa matag pamilya, kauban si Mari Vice Governor Maricar Zamora. Saire Mare. Paminaw kada Martes alas 8 hangtod alas 10 sa buntag. Saire Mare sa Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Saire Mare.
Pre, unsa din ang 88.5?
Z-Radio.
Unsa man po radio?
88.5.
Ah, kuyaw, oy!
Ma 88.5 o Z-Radio man, kamo naminaw sa Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw, Z-Radio 88.5.
Adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw. Para sa bulawan na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa bulawan na pagsibya, Z-Radio.
Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw,
Siguradong lingaw,
Siguradong Kuyaw,
siguradong kuyaw.
88.5 Z-Radio.
Adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw. Para sa bulawan na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa bulawan na pagsibya, Z-Radio.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang diin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Ganyan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang hanggang simula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ang ikawin gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paalala ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paalan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at tinig, panatilihin natin.
Ito lang,
Kapit lang,
sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampirin natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Tingog Party List, Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply,
Mabanglo Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply,
DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, MN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, Re-Ing Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Bertodazo,
Apex Mining Company Incorporated,
and Icon Builders and Supply.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The Schools Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opena, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istanyol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Yay! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Maraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya, halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Yay! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Z Radio 88.5.
Oras nato karon is already 12:20 na po ng tanghali, and our time check is brought to us by our Vice Governor of the Province of Davao de Oro, Honorable Maria Carmen Zamora. Hey mga ka-Z-Eskwela, maayong pagpaniudto sa atong tanan. Most especially po sa atong mga Z-Eskwela learners across the province of Davao de Oro. And maayong pagpaminausab sa tanan natong mga zuking tigpaminaw across the province, and apil na usab ang mga sikbit na lalawigan na abot nining sibiyahanan. My name is Teacher Drew Manuel po, ang maestrong Mawabenyo, and makakasama niyo po ako for the last 2 hours of today's episode. And earlier po, nakasama niyo ang gwapitong teacher ng Lagab Elementary School dyan po sa Compostela. Walay lain kundi si Teacher Judy Landiu. Ayan mga ka-Z. Mayong utusab sa itong mga personality na sa Division Office na gipangunahan sa ito ang SDS na si Ma'am Euphemia T. Gamutin. And so with our Assistant to SDS, Dr. Mel Handayan. Sa lahat po ng ato ang mga EPS sa mga nagkadaiyang subjects, department heads, and all the employees of our Division Office, to our fellow teachers across the province, good noon po sa inyong lahat. I do hope na nakapaniudto na ang tanan. I'm sure na ato yung hatagan ng pagtagad ang maayong panglawas para layo ta sa atong mga sakit. Tama ba mga kezi? Ayan, well anyway, again, makakasama nyo ako for 2 hours po for our program Radyo Z-Eskwela. Siguradong masaya. Dito lang yan sa atong paboritong istasyon. Ang unang istasyon din sa Bulacan, probinsya sa Davao de Oro, ang Z-Radio 88.5 FM. Ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Ayan mga ka-Z, in our first 2 hours, naibigay na ni Teacher J.L. ang ato ang first 2 lesson presentation for today. Which is about, first we have a grade 7 Sapphire and Science, na sinundan niya ng ating grade 8 Science. Ayan, so sa lahat ng ato ang mga content presenters and creative resource material developer, thank you so much po sa always nanindot na lesson presentation na inyong ginahatag para sa atong programa. And for now po mga ka-Z, we do have 2 more lesson presentation intended for our grade 9 and grade 10. Same subject po tayo ngayon mga ka-Z. Science ang ato ang subject for today's episode. And speaking of science, I would like to greet also the education program supervisors ato ang subject na science na si Ma'am Sisenya Morales. Hi Ma'am, maayong pagpaniudto. Maayong udto-sab sa ato mga butihing Radyo Z-Eskwela program sponsors. Daghan kayong salamat kay up to till now nagasuporta gyapon sila sa atong programa. And of course, if you're not online, online ngayon, nakatutok lang kayo sa inyong mga radio dial mga ka-Z. So feel free to give us your comments and pa-questions, and at the same time mga suggestions through texting us or calling us through our official mobile number, which is 0953-211-3492. So, yan po yung ato ang official mobile number. And if you're online, of course, mas nindot po mga ka-Z-Eskwela since naka-cross-line streaming tayo gamit ang Facebook application. All you have to do is to like and follow. Of course, subscribe our FB pages such as the Z-Radio 88.5, DepEd Division of Davao de Oro, and the Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro. Ayan, so with those FB pages, so mamahimo ding ihatag ang ato ang mga komento, mga pa-question din na regarding sa atong lesson presentation. And of course, we are open for suggestions and recommendations para mas mapanindot pa atong programa sa Radyo Z-Eskwela. And of course, mga ka-Z, if you missed this episode, worry no more since we do have our YouTube channel. Sa atong YouTube channel, dinha naka-download ang tanan natong mga lesson presentation. Gunad pa sa pag-start sa itong school year 2020-2021. All you have to do, of course, is to like and to follow and subscribe. And please click the notification bell of our YouTube channel, which is the Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Again, our YouTube channel is Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. And sa ato ang mga learners na grades 7, 8, and 9, and 10, please notify us with your attendance by filling out our attendance link po na naka-flash yan sa ato ang mga FB screens, and at the same time nakapin din yan sa ato ang mga comment box section to our different FB pages. Yes, it's already 12:25 na po mga ka-Z-Eskwela, and it's now time to give you the third lesson presentation intended for grade 9 Science. And makakasama natin bilang content presenter, a teacher 1 from Attorney Orlando Rimando National High School. We have Ma'am Shella Fejin Nojos, along with her creative resource material developer, a teacher 3 from Lorenzo Sarmiento Senior National High School. We have Sir Noel D. Paran. Ayan, so this time let's have a hooray for a WED-SCITING day. Get yourselves ready for these final episodes in science for this school year 2020-2021. Kaya naman, tara na, magklase na ta!
Hello, grade 9 learners. Welcome back to Radio Z-Eskwela. I am your Science 9 teacher on air. I am Ma'am Sheila. Today, we will be having another fun learning episode in Science 9. But before that, I would like to congratulate everyone because we are now halfway completing grade 9 science. Good job, learners! In this quarter, we will be talking Earths and space. And our first lesson is about types of volcanoes. And these are the things you have to prepare as we go on with our lesson today. Your paper or notebook, your pen and module. Before we start, let us have first a review. This will help you remember your past lessons about volcanoes. First, what is a volcano? You're right. Volcano or volcanoes are natural opening in the Earth's surface. It could be a hill or mountain that was formed from ejected hot and gaseous volcanic rock materials accumulated throughout the years, which formed into various shapes and sizes. One example of a volcano is Mayon Volcano in Albay. It is known for its nearly perfect cone. Next, what are the basic parts of a volcano? Do you still remember it? Very good! The basic parts of a volcano are base, slope, and summit. At the summit, the crater is located. The crater is a funnel-shaped depression at the top of a volcano formed as a result of explosives. It is the mouth or the opening of a volcano. The Taal volcano in Batangas has 47 craters. What is a fluid or semi-fluid materials below the Earth's crust that is usually made by molten rocks? Good! It is magma. Magma are molten rocks inside the Earth's crust. When this magma is ejected out of a volcano, it is now called lava. Very good! A lava is a magma that has been ejected out of a volcano. Great! Now that you already remember the basics about volcano, let us now have our lesson for today. Our lesson for today is the different types or classification of volcanoes. This lesson addresses to the following must learning competency. Describe the different types of volcano and volcanic eruption. And we have the following learning objectives. Differentiate volcanoes as active and inactive. Describe the different types of volcano based on its volcanic eruption. Classify volcanoes based on its volcanic shape. This time, we are going to brush up your stock knowledge about the topic. We will have a short pre-test. Listen carefully to each questions and choose the letter of the best answer. Are you ready? Number 1. Which among the following volcanoes is formed from cinders and ash? Which among the following volcanoes is formed from cinders and ash? Letter A, shield volcano. Letter B, cinder cone volcano. Letter C, composite cone or stratovolcano. The correct answer is B, cinder cone volcano. Number 2. Which among the following volcanoes is formed from mostly lava? Which among the following volcanoes is formed from mostly lava? Letter A, shield volcano. B, cinder cone volcano. Letter C, composite cone or stratovolcano. The correct answer is A. Shield volcano. Number 3. Which among the following volcanoes is formed from alternate solidification of lava and cinders? Which among the following volcanoes is formed from alternate solidification of lava and cinders? Letter A. Shield volcano. Letter B. Cinder cone volcano. Letter C. Composite cone or stratovolcano. Correct answer is C. Composite cone or stratovolcano. Which of the following characteristic of a volcano depend on its magma emission? Letter A. Age. Letter B. Size. Letter C. Shape. Letter D. Location. The correct answer is C. Shape. When we return, we will be discussing the different types or classification of volcanoes. Stay tuned, grade 9.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Welcome back to Science 9. The Philippines is located in the area known as the Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates collide, causing many volcanoes to arise. It is also the region where many volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur. That is why it is very important to us to have knowledge about volcanoes. Last January 2020, the eruption of the Taal volcano in Batangas had come to our attention because it brought significant changes in many lives. To better understand the characteristics of volcanoes, let's have this topic and further explore the different activities included in this module. So let's start with a classification of volcano according to its record of eruption. Study the distribution of volcanoes on the Philippine map that is figure 1 in your module. Are the volcanoes found in the same location? Take a look also on the table 1, the list of volcanoes in the Philippines. Can you find out the difference between active and inactive volcanoes? The Philippines has about 300 volcanoes, and there are 23 active volcanoes, while the rest remain dormant and inactive. PHIVOLCS, or the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, classified volcanic activity into active and inactive. Active volcano are volcanoes that have a record of eruption within the last 600 years, or those that erupted 10,000 years ago based on analysis of their materials. Examples are Mayun volcano in Albay and Taal volcano in Batangas. On the other hand, inactive volcano is a volcano that have not erupted for the last 10,000 years, and agents of weathering and erosion are changing their physical form through the formation of deep and long gullies. Example, are Mount Urut in Sulu and Mount Tamburok in Leyte. As your first activity for this lesson, list or give 5 description of a volcano, and also, through a concept map, give the difference between an active and inactive volcano. Do this in a separate piece of paper. Are you done, grade 9? Very good! Now let's move on to another classification of a volcano, that is, classification of volcano according to its volcanic eruption. But first, why do you think volcano erupts? When magma inside the volcano rises, bubbles of gas form inside the volcano. If magma is thick, gas bubbles cannot easily escape, and pressure builds up as the magma rises. When the pressure surpasses the strength of the overlying volcanic rocks, fracturing occurs, forming a vent. This enabled magma to push through a conduit pipe and vent as it gets closer to the Earth's surface. When there is too much buildup of pressure because the magma increases its heat, the magma in the form of lava flows along the volcano slope. The volcano emits column of ash and any opening part of it, coming from the steam and gases inside. There are different types of volcanic eruption. First is Strombolian eruption. This type of eruption consists of erratic, relatively small explosions or weak pulsating explosions causing a shower of lava fragments forming luminous arcs from the sky. It is named after an Italian volcano, Strombolian. Another type of volcanic eruption is phreatic or hydrothermal eruption. These eruptions are steam-driven explosions that happens when an underground water or surface water is heated by magma, lava, or hot rock. Another type is phreatomagmatic eruption. It is a violent eruption when there is an interaction between magma and water. A surge of ash and lava fragments in the air are carried. Another type of volcanic eruption is Vulcanian eruption. This type is characterized by tall eruption that reach up to 20 km high with pyroclastic flow and ashfall tephra. The last type of volcanic eruption is the Plinian eruption. It is an excessively strong type of eruption of gas and pyroclastics. Are you still there, grade 9 learners? Now, to test your understanding about the classification of volcano according to its volcanic eruption, kindly do the activity 2, letter B in your module. Matching type. The direction is match columns A and B. Do this in a separate piece of paper. Write only the letter of the correct answer. Please start. Are you done? Good! Do not forget to include your paper in your assessment envelope. The next lesson is classification of volcano according to its volcanic shape. Volcano comes in different shapes. The shape of a volcano depends its magma emission. There are 3 types of volcanic shape. First is shield volcano. Shield volcano is formed by the accumulation of lava oozes out from the volcano. Since its lava is non-viscous, it can flow freely. It is broad, slightly domed structure that resembles a warrior shield. Example of a shield volcano is the Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Another type of volcanic shape is cinder cone. Cinder cone volcano is built from ejected lava fragments. They have a steep slope, wide crater, forming a circular or oval cone. One example of this type is the Mount Paricutin in Mexico. The last type of volcanic shape is composite cone or stratovolcano. This is large, nearly perfect cone structure formed from the alternate solidification of both lava and pyroclastic deposits. Some example of composite cone volcano are Mayon volcano in Albay in Mount Fuji in Japan. So, those are the three types of volcanic shapes. First is the shield volcano, cinder cone volcano, composite cone volcano, or stratovolcano. This time around, let's see how well you understand the lesson by having the activity 2-A in your module. Identify and describe what type of volcanic shape is in the illustration. Write your answer on a separate piece of paper. Please start. When you are done grade 9, put your output in your envelope. So that's it. The different classification of volcanoes according to its volcanic record of eruption, volcanic style of eruption, and according to its volcanic shape. When we return, we will be having a short review and a short quiz. Stay tuned, grade 9!
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Welcome back to Science 9. This is now the third and last part of our discussion today. This time, we will have a short review, and after this, we will be having a short quiz. Our lesson today deals about the different classification of volcanoes. Volcanoes are classified according to its record of eruption, according to its volcanic style, and according to its volcanic shape. First, we talk about the classification of volcano according to its record of eruption. And volcanoes are classified as either active or inactive volcano. Active volcano is volcano that have a record of eruption within the last 600 years or that has erupted 10,000 years ago. While inactive volcano is a volcano that have not erupted for last 10,000 years. Volcanoes are also classified according to its volcanic style of eruption. We discussed 5 types of volcanic style of eruption. 1 is Strombolian eruption. Strombolian eruption appears to have a distinct burst of glowing lava fountain. Number 2, phreatic eruption. Phreatic eruption arises when groundwater or surface water comes in contact with hot rocks. When there is an interaction between magma and water, it refers to the third type of eruption, the phreatomagmatic eruption. Fourth type of volcanic style of eruption is Vulcanian eruption. Vulcanian eruption happens when dense cloud of ash-laden gas explodes from the crater and rises high above the peak. And lastly, we have Plinian. Plinian eruption has the most dangerous types of explosive eruption. Volcanoes are also classified according to their volcanic shapes. The shield volcano, which was formed from non-explosive lava with flattened summit, looks like a warrior shield. Cinder cone volcano, formed from ejected lava, it has wide crater. And the last, composite cone or stratovolcano, was formed from alternated solidification of lava and pyroclastics deposits. I hope you are now ready for the short quiz. Please prepare now your extra paper. I will read the question twice. Are you ready? Let's start. Number 1. Mount Mayon is a blank cone volcano. Mount Mayon is a blank cone volcano. Letter A, cinder cone volcano. Letter B, composite volcano. Letter C, lava dome volcano. Letter D, shield volcano. Number 2, which is the characteristics of an active volcano? Which is the characteristics of an active volcano? Letter A, it has record of an eruption. Letter B, it has no historical eruption. Letter C, it has no but potential eruption. Letter D, its lava is very viscous. Number 3, which of the type has the most intense violent eruption? Number 3, which of the type has the most intense violent eruption? Letter A, Plinian. Letter B, Strombolian. Letter C, Vulcanian. Letter D, Phreatic. Number 4, which volcanic characteristics that magma emission can affect with? Number 4, which volcanic characteristics that magma emission can affect with? Letter A, age. Letter B, size. Letter C, shape. Letter D, location. Number 5, which of the following volcanic shape has non-explosive lava? Which of the following volcanic shape has non-explosive lava? Letter A, composite. Letter B, cinder. Letter C, shield. And letter D, stratovolcano. Are you done with our assessment? Great! That ends our lesson for today. I hope that you learned something from our discussion. I am again Teacher Sheila of Attorney Orlando S. Remando National High School, together with Sir Noel Paran of Lorenzo S. Sarmiento Senior National High School, saying to keep safe always and until next time.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's division superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin, Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judilan T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Sabay na babangon, sama-samang ahon, ihanda ang sarili sa hamon. Ipagpipigil sa pagsulong sa kinabukasan ng katuon, para sa di kalidad na edukasyon.
Eskwela na naman, sa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face to face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin ang pagbabago, kahirap man kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Kristiyano at katutubo, isang hanggarin san patungo. Ipagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay
sa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas. Sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal. Online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face to face. Gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago. Pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong
Isang alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan. Sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangat palagi ng ating paaralan. Ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela na tara. Tayong lahat sabay-sabay, pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal. Online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face to face. Gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago. Pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
One station, all the hits.
Z Radio 88.5.
And we're back mga ka-Z-Eskwela. It's already 12:58 na po ng hapon. Isang bugnaw kayo na panahon karon na atong nasinati sa atong takna karong adlaw. Well anyway, natapos na nating i-feature ang ating third lesson presentation, which is about the grade 9 science, and we would like to say thank you so much boss at ang content presenter na si Ma'am Shella G. Nocos, the teacher 1 from Attorney Orlando S. Romando Senior National High School, and at the same time kasama ang kanyang creative resource material developer, isang teacher 3 from Lorenzo Sarmiento Senior National High School, Sir Noel D. Paran. Ayan, ma'am and sir, thank you so much and congratulations po sa inyong napakagandang lesson presentation. Ayan, so bago tayo dumako sa ating last lesson presentation for today's episode mga ka-Z, nais ko lang pasalamatan nato ang mga butihing Radyo Z-Eskwela program sponsors. Thank you so much to WED Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, and GP&H Construction Incorporated. Ayan, so daghan kayong salamat sa tuang program sponsors. Of course, again, I would like to remind all our learners, most especially sa tuang grade 7, 8, 9, and 10 learners, to notify us with your attendance for today. All you have to do is to fill out our notification link attendance na https://tinyurl.com/Radyo Z-Eskwela July 7. Ayan, our attendance link po ay naka-flash yan sa ato ang mga FB screens, and at the same time nakapin din yan sa ato ang mga comment box sections to our different FB pages. And of course, sa mga nakaka-tune in lang ngayon na takna, as a recap po for our today's episode, we started our program with 2 lesson presentation, and nakasama nyo si Teacher Guapitong Chinito ng Lagab Elementary School, Teacher Judy Landiu. Binigay niya ang grade 7 science and grade 8 science. And of course, for the last 2 hours, Maestro Mawabenyo makakasama nyo until 2 p.m. po mga kasi Teacher Drew Manuel. And I had given you the lesson presentation for the grade 9 science, and later on po, we'll give you the grade 10 science. And of course, sa lahat ng ato mga learners, kung dili mo online o wala mo nakatutok sa inyong mga radio dial sa 88.5 FM na mamahimong i-review ninyo not only this lesson presentation po mga kasi, but all the downloaded lesson presentations na ibinigay po ng ato ang Radyo Z-Eskwela program through checking us out sa ato ang YouTube channel na Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. Again, our YouTube channel is Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. It's already 1:02 na po ng hapon. Medyo bugno dyan itong panahon. Well, anyway, magpapatuloy tayo sa ato ang last lesson presentation for today, intended for our grade 10 learners in the subject of science. Makakasama natin bilang content presenter a teacher 1 of Monte Vista National High School. We have Ma'am Teresa V. Angostura. Kasama naman ang kanyang creative resource material developer, a teacher 3 of Major Angel V. Fajardo National High School, Ma'am Mildred P. Recto. Ito pa rin ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, dito lang yan sa Z-Radio 80.5 FM, ay istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. And with that note, let's have a hooray for a WED-SCITING Day. Get yourselves ready for this final episodes in science for the school year 2020-2021. Kaya naman, tara na, magklase na ta!
A pleasant afternoon, Davao de Oro, and to all Z-Eskwela listeners, especially to all grade 10 students who are listening to us right now on the radios at home and joining with us on our Facebook Live. I am teacher Teresa Angostura from Monte Vista National High School, and I will again be your presenter for today in Science Grade 10. We are now on our third quarter about the living things and their environment. How are you so far? I hope you are still enjoying your journey in the new normal setting of learning as we'll continue to move forward despite of the crisis we are in right now. Now, let's move on and have another lesson. We hope everybody is prepared with your pens and your record notebooks, making sure that you already ate your lunch and you are on your most comfortable position as we will go through with our discussion. So, are you ready for today's class? That's good to know. Now, brace yourselves as we get along with today's topic. Ready? Once again, hello and good afternoon, everyone. Before we will start to introduce our topic this afternoon, let us first have a quick review of the previous concepts you have learned in your discussion in the previous years about the reproductive system. For us to have our review, let us make it as an activity wherein you will arrange the scrambled words that is described by the definition that will be given later on. Again, you will arrange the scrambled words that is described by the definition that will be given later on. Ready? Okay, let's start. First one. It produces sperm cells. Again, it produces sperm cells. The answer is testis. It is the sac of skin that holds the testis. Again, it is the sac of skin that holds the testis. The answer is scrotum. It deposits sperms into the vagina during mating. It deposits sperms into the vagina during mating. The answer is penis. It carries sperm from testis to urethra. It carries sperm from the testis to the urethra. The answer is vas deferens. Next, it produces egg cells. Again, it produces egg cells. The answer is ovary. It serves as passageway of eggs from the ovary to the uterus and is a site of fertilization. It serves as passageway of eggs from the ovary to the uterus and is a site of fertilization. The answer is oviduct. Next, it serves as site of egg implantation and it is where the fertilized egg develops. It serves as site of egg implantation and it is where the fertilized egg develops. The answer is uterus. Last one. It receives the penis of male during mating. It receives the penis of male during mating. The answer is vagina. So, how much have you remembered? Very good. I know that you are still familiar with these terms as you have discussed this thoroughly in the previous years. Now, let's proceed with our discussion. Now, several processes in the body are controlled by hormones, which regulate and balance the working of organs, tissues, and cells. Both men and women produce hormones in the same areas with one exception, and that is the reproductive gland. Additional male hormones are produced in the testes, while female hormones are produced in the ovaries. For most living creatures, reproduction is basically a normal process controlled by hormones. What do you think will happen if people stop to reproduce? Well, basically, the human species would become extinct. Am I right? That's why this afternoon we will be discussing the role of hormones in the reproductive system and the feedback mechanisms in menstrual cycle. And we hope that at the end of the lesson, you will be able to explain the role of hormones involved in the female and male reproductive systems and describe the feedback mechanisms involved in regulating processes in the female reproductive system, such as the menstrual cycle. Now, are you ready for the discussion of our topic this afternoon? Great! To test your knowledge about this topic, let us have our pre-test first, in which you are given 5 seconds to answer each 10 questions. Write your answers in a clean sheet of paper. Again, you are given 5 seconds to answer each 10 questions and write your answers in a clean sheet of paper. Listen carefully. Number 1. Which term is also referred to as the chemical messenger of the body? Which term is also referred to as the chemical messenger of the body? Letter A, blood. Letter B, bones. Letter C, hormones. Letter D, nerves. Number 2. An organ that develops a secretion is a or an blank. An organ that develops a secretion is a or an blank. A. Estrogen. B. Hormone. C. Gland. D. Progesterone. Number 3. When does the reproductive system among humans become active? When an individual blank. Number 3. When does the reproductive system among humans become active? When an individual blank. A. Grows taller. B. Is in college. C. Is in high school. Or D. Reaches puberty. Number 4. Which of the following hormones are involved in the menstruation process? Which of the following hormones are involved in the menstruation process? A. FSH and LH. B. Estrogen. C. Progesterone. D. All of the above. Number 5. Which of the following secondary sex characteristics is common to both male and female? Which of the following secondary sex characteristics is common to both male and female? A. Wider hip. B. Growth of hair. C. Breast development. D. Deepening of the voice. Number 6. The main hormone secreted by the testes is blank. The main hormone secreted by the testes is blank. A. LH. B. Estrogen. C. FSH. D. Testosterone. Number 7. Which of the following pair is correctly matched? Which of the following pair is correctly matched? Letter A. Ovary testosterone. B. Testes progesterone. C. Testes estrogen. Or D. Ovary progesterone. Number 8. The secretion of this hormone will stimulate the ovary to start the development of egg cell and secretion of estrogen. What is this hormone? The secretion of this hormone will stimulate the ovary to start the development of egg cell and secretion of estrogen. What is this hormone? Letter A. Follicle stimulating hormone or FSH. Letter B. Gonadotropic releasing hormone or GnRH. Letter C. Luteinizing hormone or LH. Or letter D. Prolactin. Number 9. What do you call the loss of the cells from the uterine lining, blood, and egg in the uterus? What do you call the loss of the cells from the uterine lining, blood, and egg in the uterus? Letter A. Fertilization. Letter B. Ovulation. Letter C. Menstruation. Or letter D. Reproduction. Number 10. What do you call the process through which the level of one substance influences the level of another substance? What do you call the process through which the level of one substance influences the level of another substance? Letter A. Respiration. Letter B. Homeostasis. Letter C. Reproduction. Letter D. Feedback mechanism. Now, let us check your work. The answers are number 1, letter C. Number 2, letter C. Number 3, letter D. Number 4, letter D. Number 5, letter C. Number 6, letter D. Number 7, letter D. Number 8, letter A. Number 9, letter C. And number 10, letter D. How are your scores? It's okay if you did not get perfect scores, as we will tackle these things in our discussion today. Now, after our short break, we will continue on our discussion on the role of hormones in the reproductive system and the feedback mechanisms in menstrual cycle. Stay tuned!
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Kanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And we are back. Now, let us have our discussion about the role of hormones in the reproductive system and the feedback mechanisms in menstrual cycle. As I recall, the system that is involved in sexual reproduction is called the reproductive system. As we all know, there is a striking difference between the male and female reproductive systems, although they share a number of similarities. For example, the reproductive organs of the male and female are developed from the same embryological structures, and some hormones are commonly found in both male and female in varying quantities and produce different responses. Hormones, known as the chemical messenger of the body, play an important role in both male and female reproductive systems. The reproductive gland of the male are the testes, and it releases the hormones androgen and testosterone that control the maturation and male characteristics. Again, the reproductive gland of the male are the testes, and it releases the hormones androgen and testosterone that control the maturation and male characteristics. In addition to this gland, there is the prostate gland, which releases chemicals that nourish the sperm cells and help them mature. While the reproductive gland of the female are the ovaries, and it releases the hormones estrogen and progesterone that influence female traits and support reproductive function. Again, the reproductive gland of the female are the ovaries, and it releases the hormones estrogen and progesterone that influence female traits and support reproductive function. The follicles in the ovary produce hormones that control the growth and release of eggs from the ovaries, while other hormones prepare the uterus so a baby can grow in it. Other hormones still control the stretching of the uterus during pregnancy. Endocrine system contains a group of glands that release hormones into the body. And the gland that I am talking about earlier that also controls the reproductive glands is what we call as the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is located at the base of the brain, and it releases the hormones oxytocin, vasopressin, growth hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH, prolactin, luteinizing hormone, and follicle-stimulating hormone. Its function is to stimulate growth and control the functions of the other glands, just like the glands found in the reproductive system. Again, the function of the pituitary gland is to stimulate growth and control the functions of the other glands, just like the glands found in the reproductive system. Some hormones have short-term effects, while other hormones have long-term effects, such as those that control our growth and the changes at the onset of puberty. During puberty, there are many hormonal changes that happen in your body. One moment you laugh, and then suddenly you feel like crying. Sudden mood swings are relatively caused by the increasing amount of hormones in the body at this stage. It is therefore important to maintain a positive outlook in life and remember that these changes are only temporary and will stabilize with time. So learners, when puberty strikes, stay positive. On the other hand, let us remember that on average, an ovary releases only one egg every 28 days. Again, how many days does an ovary releases an egg? Very good! 28 days. Now, what controls this timing? Hormones control many of the changes in the reproductive system. The monthly changes that take place in the female reproductive system is called as the menstrual cycle that starts between 10 to 13 years old and continues for about 40 years. Again, the human ovaries can usually produce only one egg during the menstrual cycle, and this cycle is controlled by a follicle-stimulating hormone or FSH, and this hormone is again produced in the pituitary gland. Now, if the egg cell or the ovum is not fertilized, progesterone production stops and there will be a breakdown and discharge of soft uterine tissues and the unfertilized egg, and that is called menstruation. Again, menstruation is the breakdown and discharge of soft uterine tissues and the unfertilized egg. These are the monthly changes that happens in a female reproductive system. Now, starting from puberty, the pituitary gland starts to direct the secretion of the follicle-stimulating hormone or FSH and the luteinizing hormone or LH. These hormones signal the start of puberty and one of which is the onset of menstruation. Again, the follicle-stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone signal the start of puberty and one of which is the onset of menstruation. The pituitary gland during puberty starts a series of hormonal changes that make a woman capable of pregnancy. This series of changes is what we call as the menstrual cycle. Although the length of this cycle varies, it lasts at an average of 28 days. Now, what is the feedback mechanism in menstrual cycle? A feedback mechanism is the process through which the level of one substance influences the level of another substance. Again, a feedback mechanism is the process through which the level of one substance influences the level of another substance. And there are two kinds of feedback mechanism. The first one is the positive feedback, and the second one is the negative feedback. The first one is the positive feedback, and it happens when a rate of a process works to increase a product. Again, a positive feedback happens when a rate of a process works to increase a product. The opposite one is the negative feedback, which happens when a rate of a process works to decrease or end the production of a product. Again, a negative feedback happens when a rate of a process works to decrease or end the production of a product. So, what is the feedback mechanism in the menstrual cycle? Generally, The menstrual cycle experiences a negative feedback, and here is how it works. During puberty, the anterior pituitary gland secretes a follicle-stimulating hormone that would stimulate the ovaries and causes the release of the estrogen hormone. High levels of estrogen then inhibits or stops the production of the FSH or follicle-stimulating hormone. Again, high levels of estrogen inhibits or stops the production of the FSH or follicle-stimulating hormone. This is now the first negative feedback it experiences. Then, as estrogen prevents the production of the FSH, estrogen now stimulates the production of the luteinizing hormone or the LH from the pituitary gland, which in turn controls the production of progesterone. Now, with high levels of progesterone, it then stops the further release of the luteinizing hormone in the pituitary gland. Again, with high levels of progesterone, it then stops the further release of the luteinizing hormone in the pituitary gland. This is now the second negative feedback it experiences. Can you still recall what are these hormones for as discussed earlier? Great! The hormones that are found in the pituitary gland, such as the FSH or the follicle-stimulating hormone and the LH or the luteinizing hormone, stimulates growth and control the functions of other glands, while the reproductive hormone in females, such as the estrogen and progesterone, influence female traits and support the reproductive function. Again, in the pituitary gland with the hormones FSH and LH stimulates growth and control the functions of other glands, while with the reproductive gland with hormones estrogen and progesterone influence female traits and support the reproductive function. So, what is the importance of the feedback mechanism? Feedback mechanism maintains the homeostasis or balance in our body, which is really important for maintaining molecular and physiological process. Again, feedback mechanism maintains the homeostasis or balance in our body, which is really important for maintaining molecular and physiological process. That way, nothing in our body comes too out of balance, too high or too low. That's the beauty of physiological feedback mechanism. Now, if you have any questions about our discussion for today, you can leave a comment on our Facebook Live in the Facebook accounts of Z Radio 88.5 or the Radyo Z-Eskwela DepEd Davao de Oro, and we'll answer that later on. So, I guess you are now ready for your quiz. Now, during our break, prepare your pen and a clean sheet of paper because when we come back, we will test your understanding on our discussion today. We'll be right back after a short break.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
I'm back, learners! Are you now ready for your quiz? I guess you are quite ready and excited too. Now, let us start. Let us read the instruction together. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Again, choose the letter of the correct answer and write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. You will be given 5 seconds to write down your answers. Let us start. Number 1. An organ that develops a secretion is a or an blank. An organ that develops a secretion is a or an blank. A. Hormone, B. Gland, C. Estrogen, D. Progesterone. Number 2. Which of the following secondary sex characteristics is common to both male and female? Which of the following secondary sex characteristics is common to both male and female? A. Breast development, B. Wider hip, C. Growth of hair, D. Deepening of voice. Number 3. The main hormone secreted by the testes is blank. The main hormone secreted by the testes is blank. A. Testosterone, B. Estrogen, C. FSH, D. LH. Number 4. Which of the following hormones are involved in the menstruation process? Which of the following hormones are involved in the menstruation process? A. FSH and LH, B. Estrogen, C. Progesterone, D. All of the above. Number 5. Which term is also referred to as the chemical messenger of the body? Which term is also referred to as the chemical messenger of the body? A. Blood, B. Hormones, C. Nerves, D. Bones. Number 6. The secretion of this hormone will stimulate the ovary to start the development of egg cell and secretion of estrogen. What is this hormone? The secretion of this hormone will stimulate the ovary to start the development of egg cell and secretion of estrogen. What is this hormone? Letter A. Follicle stimulating hormone or FSH. Letter B. Gonadotropic releasing hormone or GnRH. Letter C. Luteinizing hormone or LH. And letter D. Prolactin. Number 7. Which of the following pair is correctly matched? Which of the following pair is correctly matched? Letter A. Ovary testosterone. Letter B. Testes progesterone. Letter C. Testes estrogen. Or letter D. Ovary progesterone. Number 8. What do you call the process through which the level of one substance influences the level of another substance? What do you call the process through which the level of one substance influences the level of another substance? Letter A. Respiration. Letter B. Feedback mechanism. Letter C. Reproduction. or letter D, homeostasis? Number 9. When does the reproductive system among humans become active? When an individual blank. When does the reproductive system among humans become active? When an individual blank. Letter A, grows taller. Letter B, is in college. Letter C, reaches puberty. Or letter D, is in high school. Number 10. What do you call the loss of the cells from the uterine lining, blood, and egg in the uterus? What do you call the loss of the cells from the uterine lining, blood, and egg in the uterus? Letter A, fertilization. Letter B, ovulation. Letter C, menstruation. And letter D, reproduction. Okay, let us check your work. The answers are number 1, letter B. Number 2, letter A. Number 3, letter A. Number 4, letter D. Number 5, letter B. Number 6, letter A. Number 7, letter D. Number 8, letter B. Number 9, letter C. And number 10, letter C. Who among you got perfect? How about those students who got below the passing score? Nothing to worry about. We still have plenty of quizzes on the preceding topics. Once again, congratulations everyone! Again, we hope that you were able to understand and grasp the knowledge about the role of hormones in the reproductive system and the feedback mechanisms in menstrual cycle, wherein we explain the role of hormones involved in the male and female reproductive systems and described the feedback mechanisms involved in regulating processes in the female reproductive system, such as the menstrual cycle. Reminder, for those concepts which is not clear to you, you can put your comments, suggestions, and questions on our FB Live. Once again, thank you so much for listening and see you next session through our radio-based instruction. I am teacher Teresa V. Angostura of Monte Vista National High School Main Campus as your content presenter, and with me is teacher Mildred P. Recto of Major Angel V. Fajardo National High School as the creative developer for the class on the air in grade 10 science.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's division superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opena, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D.T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joanne T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Kini ang Siguradong Lingaw.
Siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
88.5 Z Radio.
This is Z Radio 88.5.
Z-Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Magbayanihan na, magbayanihan na, bayanihan, pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Nagtagatibay, sinasabuhay, galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada, pabigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salin na buong barkada. Brigada, eskwela, kilos na, magbayanihan na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada, pagbigisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na, brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada, eskwela, salit na buong barkada. kapangyarihan na.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang dikiin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Yan tayong kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang nagkasimula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ang ika'y gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paalala ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paano lang tinatawag na tahanan?
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at tinig, panatilihin natin. Kapit lang,
Sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampiling natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayan at kabrigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Di mo alintana mga batikos at pangungutya, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Ika'y di sumusuko, lumalaban at nangangako, maihatid pa rin ang serbisyong totoo. Para sa kabataan, ginagawa ang lahat, maibigay lang ang edukasyong karapat-dapat. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo, sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Ika'y pinangungunahan ng isang superwoman, walang iba, Madam Leonor Briones lang naman. Sa ngalan ng serbisyo, dedikasyon sa trabaho, pagmamahal ng isang ina, nararamdaman ko. Ikaw ang humuhubog sa aming kinabukasan, laging inuuna ang kapakanan ng kabataan. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo, sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo. Z Radio 88.5.
Oras na to karon, it's already 1:51 na po ng hapon. And our time check is brought to us by our Vice Governor of the Province of Davao de Oro, Honorable Maria Carmen Zamora. And mga ka-Z-Eskwela, natapos na natin i-feature ating last lesson presentation for today para sa ato ang mga grade 10 learners sa subject na science. Nais nating pasalamatan ang ato ang content presenter for this one, na Teacher 1 of Monte Vista National High School, Ma'am Teresa V. Angostura, kasama ang kanyang Creative Resource Material Developer, isang Teacher 3 naman from Major Angel V. Fajardo National High School, Ma'am Mildred P. Recto. Ayan mga ka-Z-Eskwela, natapos na nating i-feature ang ating 4-lesson presentation for today. And bago ako magpaalam sa inyo, nais ko lang batiin and thank you so much ang ato ang mga Radyo Z-Eskwela program sponsors. Thank you so much Metro Gear Construction Corporation, Nan Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mace Enterprises Incorporated, WEIN Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Counselor Rubic and Ms. Marjorie Vertudazo, Acon Builders and Supply, Apex Mining Company Incorporated, and Bahati Construction. Madalian din po, nais ko ding batiin ako mga kaubanan karon na ka-schedule sa ato ang RBI team. We have Ma'am Irene Lea Mangohon as our secretariat, part sa atong SMPT Sir Angelo Gutierrez, and nausap sa atong booth sa Pikas Lawak ang nagunaganihan na teacher anchor na si Guapitong Chinito na si Teacher Judy Landiu, og naasab ang teacher na biba ng Mabini diha sa to ang Pikas Lawak na si Teacher Donna D. Bolofer. And kauban usab na ako as VMix operator for today, Teacher Tata Acusar. Ayan, it's already 1:53 na po. And nais ko ding batiin ang amo ang school head din na sa Tuburan National High School, si Sir Rogelio Jojo Gono, and to all my fellow teachers din sa Tuburan National, maayong pagpaminaw og thank you so much sa inyong suporta. And I will also greet our Ma'am District Supervisor. Wala laing gudi si Ma'am Azucena L. Teves o iyang mga kaubanan sa District Office. Ma'am, thank you so much always sa imong suporta sa atong programa. Ayan, it's already 1:54 na po mga ka-Z-Eskwela. Of course, I am reminding all our learners grade 7, 8, 9, and 10 to notify us with your attendance since magsirado na nga ang attendance up to 2 p.m. po later, and our SMPT will evaluate kung sino yung mga learners natin across the province ang nag-notify sa itong attendance. Patuloy pa rin tayong sumuport of course sa itong cross-line streaming gamit ang Facebook application sa itong mga nagkadiyang FB pages, and please subscribe our YouTube channel Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO. And sa lahat po na nakatutok sa ato through their radio dial sa 88.5. Thank you so much sa inyong pagpaminaw o sa ato ang mga netizens na naminaw dyan sa ato ang programa. Thank you so much. Ayan, it's already 1:55 na po ng hapon. It's time for me to say bye-bye. O sa ngalan sa Tibok Puwersa sa Radyo Z-Eskwela sa Division of Davao de Oro, nagipangunahan sa toong SDS na si Ma'am Yefemia T. Gamutin. Uban usab ang management and staff din sa Z Radio 8.5. Nagipangunahan sa Station Manager Sir Nestor Mamon. With me for this afternoon, VX Operator Sir Tata Acusar. This is Teacher Drew Manuel, ang maestrong Mama Benyo. And this is my last episode for the school year 2020-2021. Magkita-kita tayo for the next school year. Pero until Saturday pa po yung last ng ato ang airing din sa Radyo Z-Eskwela. And tomorrow, makakasama nyo sina Teacher Given Hinampas, Nanay Lori Lee Quijano, Teacher Donna D. Bolofer, and Teacher Judy Landiu. And they will feature the Filipino 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, aabangan yan ng ating mga learners across the province. Ayan, so it's time for me to say bye-bye na po. To God be the glory. And once again, amping kanunay sa tanang panahon. Labi na sa itong pandemya karong mga tak na Daghan kayong salamat once again sa pag-ubad-uban ka na ako in 2 hours. Ito pa rin ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here sa atong paboritong istasyon. Ang Z-Radio 88.5 FM, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. And as always, dalago ng Diyos.